Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Catherine Shutton and I handle content and brand strategy here at Vivial. And today I'm joined by Eugene Farber, who is our SEO guru and also Google AdWords Certified. Eugene has many years of experience working with all different types of small businesses to optimize their SEO both on their site and then with different pages across the internet, so they increase their visibility overall. And just a quick outline of what we're going to go over today. We will cover local search. We'll give you a basic overview 101 very quickly. We will give you different visibility strategies that you can use to rank your site and then other pages. We'll also cover some trends and changes, specifically in regards to Google, that you need to be aware of. And we will give you some free tools at the end that you can use, as well as additional resources. If you do have questions throughout, if you could type them into the chat box, and we will answer them at the end. So I'm going to pass it over to Eugene.
All right, thank you, Catherine. So we'll just jump right into it, as there's a pretty good amount of information to cover. So first things first, local search 101, what is it and really why should you care as a business? So really what separates local search from just any old regular search marketing is the where component, right? So local search takes in the what is somebody searching for, along with the where are they searching from. And really there's a lot of overlap with search marketing in general, but there are a few nuances that make this fairly different. So a few examples of what a local search might be would be, you know, Hong Kong hotels. If somebody's traveling to Hong Kong and they search Hong Kong hotels, that's clearly, very clearly a search for hotels in that local area. Or Manhattan restaurants or car rentals in Dublin. All of these are local specific searches. Now there's explicitly local searches like the ones I just mentioned now. So Hong Kong hotels is explicitly a search for local hotels in the Hong Kong area. And there's implicit local searches, which really Google is pretty smart about trying to, you know, figure out what people are searching for. And if you're searching for restaurants, if you just type in the word restaurants into Google, there's a good chance you're going to come up with a list of restaurants that are local to you. They know where you're searching from. You didn't explicitly search for restaurants within your area, but Google knows that if you're searching for restaurants from a specific area, you're probably more likely to be interested in restaurants in your area. And really this depends on the type of search you're doing. So if you're searching for a pie recipe, you're probably not going to get very many local results because location doesn't really matter. So again, implicit, explicit, those are two different types of local searches. The way you optimize for those really doesn't change. And we'll get into the tactics you would use as a local business to get in front of people searching for those. But those are just some examples of local searches. So what influences the results that Google shows, and, you know, what shows up when somebody makes a local search? So first of all, the algorithm obviously is a pretty big influence. That's really what decides what shows up where, and that's based on what people search for, the actual words they type in when they're searching for those things, which search engines are preferred. That's typically going to be Google. That they have by far the most market share in terms of search. And the device the searcher is using also greatly influences rankings. In fact, Google shows two different types of results based on whether you're searching from a desktop computer or whether you're searching from a mobile phone. And we'll get into why mobile is important in a little bit, but all those things go into the results that Google will display. So how do you get in front of people that are performing these local searches? So we're going to go through some visibility strategies here and how you can get in front of those people. Most of these will be from an organic perspective, meaning an SEO perspective, things you don't have to pay for, but I will touch quickly on advertising as well, because again, that AdWords is a tool you can use with Google to show up for local searches, so it's definitely worth mentioning here. But again, we'll start with things you can do to improve visibility organically. And the first thing is figure out what keywords you want to target to rank in the first place. If you don't know what you're trying to rank for, you can't really rank for it. And this goes for both organic and paid results. And the way you decide those keywords is basically, put yourself in your customer's shoes. What might they be looking for? Once you have a kind of a seed list of different keywords that you think people might be searching for, you can use a tool like Google's own keyword tool, which we'll mention later, and figure out, are people actually searching for this? You get a search volume that they can give you. You can view historical stats on what people have searched, how many people have searched. You also want to take into account how competitive that keyword is. So if you're going after an ultra-competitive keyword that gets a ton of searches, it might be hard to rank for it. You might want to go after a keyword that gets maybe fewer searches, but it's easier to rank for. These are all things you have to take into account. Another thing that's increasingly important is keyword combinations. So Google is getting a lot better at kind of making connections between different keywords. So whereas in the past you could basically target one specific keyword or maybe two specific keywords per page, now it's more of a topical thing. So if you have a list of keywords, it could be 10 keywords, for instance, all on one page, but they're very closely related. Google is very good at making those connections, and they're getting better and better at it. So keyword combinations are also something to take into account. Once you've figured out which keywords you're going to go after, you have to optimize your actual website. So Google doesn't have an army of elves that are, roaming around the internet trying to basically figure out what the topic of each website is about. So you have to explicitly tell the search engines what the topic of your website is. And you do that by optimizing the content. Use your keywords and title tags. Meta descriptions used to be a much bigger factor in rankings, not so much anymore, but you should still optimize those. Those are the descriptions that show up after the link in the search results, and while they may not be a huge ranking factor, they can incite people to click, which you obviously want them to do on your website. All the headings on your website and the content should be optimized. Internal linking, so linking between different pages within your website. And then there's other factors like image titles, image alt tags. Basically, your whole website should be geared and optimized towards ranking for the keywords that you chose. Once you have your website optimized, the next best thing for especially a local business to do, really any business can go into business directories and try to get listed. This is especially important for local businesses with an actual brick and mortar location. So you need to go and claim your business directory listings, all your social media profiles, obviously very important for any type of business to do. There's also online phone books which you can claim listings in, and the really big one here on this list that local businesses really need to do is claim their Google My Business account. This is really the best way for you to communicate directly with Google, and this is where Google pulls its information from for the maps results. So you really need to claim that for a local location so you can show up on the map. And once you have that optimized, you can start ranking in the map as well as in the organic results below it. Now, speaking of those directories, this is a huge, huge signal for ranking locally because once you optimize your business name, your address, your phone number, website, email, basically all of the data about your business, as long as it's consistent and accurate across the board all over the internet, Google can be confident in the fact that it's accurate. If you have 50 different listings across the internet and they all have different names or different addresses or just inconsistent data, it can't be certain which of that information is correct. But if it is certain that all the information is correct, it's more likely to rank you higher in the local results. The worst thing that Google can do is provide an accurate result, because then people stop using it. So it's really, really worried about accuracy. So optimize your directories, make sure they're consistent across the board, and you're more likely to rank higher in that local map section. Another big signal for Google is content, fresh content. Google loves freshness. It's got a bias towards sites that publish content on a regular basis. So whatever that content is that's appropriate to your business, it might be deals and coupons, it might be event information, photos and videos across social media, maybe some menus if you're a restaurant. The more content you publish on a regular basis, the better. And it also basically shows Google that, we're still in business. We're still active, we're publishing online, so you don't have to worry about sending people to a business that's not around anymore. It also helps you establish authority in Google's eyes, so that's another reason why they rank sites higher that publish content. Another huge, huge signal for rankings is backlinks. So these are links that point to your website from other websites. So back in the early days of Google, people kind of figured this out. This used to be basically the main factor. So people would kind of spam their websites and get a lot of very unnatural backlinks and rank that way. Google has gotten much smarter about this, so it's better to play it safe and get them the natural way, which, again, publishing content is one way to attract backlinks to your website. A couple other ways is to network with bloggers that are in your industry. So if you're a restaurant, you might want to reach out to food bloggers. There's a service called Help a Reporter Out, which if you Google that, it'll come up. So basically, this is a service that sends you emails on a daily basis where reporters are looking for sources for stories. So if you see a topic that you can contribute to, you can respond to a reporter. They might list you as a source, and then you'll get a backlink back to your website. And just in general, network with businesses in the area and around the media, and try to get people to mention you, the old-fashioned way, basically. And the final visibility strategy that I'm going to mention here is advertising. As mentioned before, this is a way to get in front of local searchers online, as it does show up on Google if you're using AdWords. So this is a great way to get phone calls, to get website visits. It's a great source of lead generation. The thing that makes this different is, in general, people do trust organic results more. They get more clicks, and you're not paying every time somebody clicks on your website through an organic result. With AdWords, you are paying every time somebody clicks on your website. This is more immediate, however. So the second you put up an ad, you can put your credit card, give it to Google. Your ad will show up, and that's it. You're visible basically in the search engines, whereas organic results take a little more time to get. They hopefully are a little more permanent if you do it the right way. With advertising, if you stop paying, your ads go away. And another thing that you can do with ads, which is great for local businesses, is extensions. So you can have a call extension, for example, if you're a locksmith, in Manhattan. There's a lot of people that get drunk at night and lose their keys. And having that call button right next to your ad in the middle of the night, that saves people a lot of time. So that's a quick way to get in front of customers that really, really need your help. You can also have site links, which are just links to internal pages of your website within your ad, so you can send people straight to a menu if you're a restaurant, or store hours if you're a store. And then there's location extensions. So if you're a multi-location business, you can provide all of the addresses for all your locations, and people can basically locate and get directions to the one that's nearest to them. So there's a lot of ways to get creative and stand out with ads. It's a great way to get in front of local searches. Again, there's pros and cons of paid versus organic search, but this is definitely an option that's worth pursuing for businesses if you think that's appropriate for you. Now we're going to go into some trends and changes that have been happening fairly recently with Google and how these might affect you as a local business trying to get in front of people. So first thing first, which I kind of mentioned already, is be mobile friendly. This is extremely, extremely important, so much so that Google fairly recently released a tool to help you test if your website is mobile friendly. As I said, they do show different results depending on whether you're searching from a desktop or a mobile device. And this is extremely important because mobile device usage is going up, as you may know, and to the point where searches for mobile devices have actually surpassed those from desktops. And people searching on mobile devices are actually more likely to buy within a shorter period of time. So, if you're on the go and you're looking for a restaurant, you're searching for a restaurant on your phone, you're probably looking to go eat sooner than later. So it's very important that your website is mobile friendly so you can get in front of those people that are searching for mobile devices. A very recent change is Google announced that they're not a big fan of pop-ups. So a lot of users aren't, so Google isn't either because, again, they want to serve up sites that people want to see. Now, these aren't necessarily any type of pop-up. These are the type that, if you search for something online, you see a result, you click on it, and then the first thing you see is an ad that shows for 10 seconds, and you can't actually see the content that was promised to you. These are the type of interstitial pages that Google is really not looking upon favorably, especially with mobile devices. So most local businesses don't have to worry about this because they don't use these types of ads or ads at all on their company websites. So it's probably not of concern to most people on this webinar, but it is definitely something worth mentioning. Social media has been gaining a lot of significance in terms of Google's results. So one example of this is tweets are now showing up within the actual search results, which hasn't always been true. The types of tweets that show up are probably most likely to be news-related. If you've ever seen a Twitter account show up in the search results, you probably noticed this. So for most local businesses, this probably isn't going to be a great way to try to gain visibility. However, it is a signal that Google does recognize that social media really does drive a ton of what's going on online. So being active on social media is only going to gain importance in terms of actual visibility on Google as well. Now, security encryption was kind of a very big topic of discussion about a year ago. Google came out and basically said they want the whole web to use secure encryption, which basically means your website's got the HTTPS instead of the regular HTTP at the beginning of the web address. This is really a big deal if you process transactions within your website. You do want those to be secure. For most websites, this isn't going to make a huge impact. In fact, they've come out and said that really this only affects, while this is a ranking signal, it's a very small one, and it only affects probably less than 1% of total searches online. However, this could gain importance going forward, so if you want to be ahead of the curve, this might be something you want to consider and go to a secure website versus a regular one that's not secure. So some free tools that you can use in order to help you along your path to gain visibility with local search. The first one is actually one that we offer. So as I mentioned before, business listings are absolutely huge for local businesses if you're trying to rank within the map section. So if you actually have a location you're trying to rank, you want consistent and accurate business listings across the board. And you can go to the address that you see there on the slide, so localvox.com/free-tools/SEO report. Just type in your information there, and we'll actually scan all of the business listings and show you where you might have errors, what might be inconsistent, so you can go in and fix those. Again, this is one of the biggest driving factors for ranking locally within the map section, so this is really essential if you're trying to rank locally for a brick and mortar business. And the other essential part of this is, again, Google My Business, because this is where Google pulls the information from in order to rank businesses within the maps. And just in general, this is a great way to give Google more information about your business. So the more information Google has, the better it can judge whether it should rank you or not. And typically, if you're providing it with good, accurate information, it's a good idea to do so, to provide it with the more, the merrier. Another great free tool that Google provides is Google Analytics. So again, it's free, so there's really no reason not to use it. It's very robust, and you can basically track all of the data for your website, see the progress that you're making, basically see what kind of traffic you're getting from organic sources or paid sources, see if social media is driving traffic for you. Basically, it just helps you see if your strategy is working, right? There's no reason to have a plan if you're not going to measure it to see if you're on the right path, and this is a great way to do that. Another ranking signal that we didn't mention before, but this is actually an increasingly important one, is page speed. So the faster your site loads, the more chance it is to rank higher. They've actually done correlation tests, and faster websites do rank higher in Google search results. This makes sense, of course, because people have shorter and shorter attention spans, and especially if you're on your phone, you don't want to sit there for 10 seconds waiting for your result to load. So Google actually came up with a tool where you can measure page speed and type in your URL there, and it will tell you how fast your website is, and if there are any issues, what you can possibly do to fix it in order to make it faster. So maybe you have some sort of scripts that take long to load, or maybe your images are too big. This tool will actually scan your website and let you know if there are any issues. As mentioned before, Google does have a keyword tool. So you can go in there and type in whatever keywords you think people are searching. So that's a good way to start. Just put yourself into the customer's shoes and think about what they might be searching in order to find a business like yours. Come up with a seed list of keywords, put them in there, and basically validate and see if people actually are searching for what you think they're searching. Maybe you get some ideas that you haven't thought of before, and this is a great way to basically start your SEO campaigns and basically figure out what you want to rank for, or even your ad campaigns, and see what kind of keywords you want to bid on and what kind of keywords you want to show up for when people are searching in Google. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Catherine, where so she can share some additional resources for you.
Thank you, Eugene. So Vivial offers a lot of different types of resources. If you are interested in the advertising portion that Eugene spoke about earlier, that's one of the easiest ways to get listed quickly and rank in local search. We have an SEM estimator. We can give you a free quote on how much it would cost to rank for a keyword in your area. So if you email us, gethelp@vivial.net, that comes to me. You can, I will certainly help you out with that. And then we also have a free ebook that you can download, SEO for Small Business. This really just gives you an overview on how to, how to go about building out a strategy that can help you build a foundation to really launch your marketing off of. And I realize that there are no links. They're not visible on the screen. I will send out the deck afterwards, though, and they are hyperlinked in the presentation. So, and then Google actually has some really great resources for small businesses. We're a premier partner with them, and they really they do a lot for small businesses, and I don't think they get enough credit for it. And I'm not just saying that because we're a partner. We mentioned the Google Keyword Planner, but they also have a small business marketing community that it's really cool. I mean, people go on there. It's it's business owners of all types. It's people who work in construction. I'm from Cape Cod, and there's a lot of builders that work in that area. And like I've talked to some of my friends from back home, and they go on there. It's really diverse. And then you also get people who own restaurants in the Midwest. So and they share problems, but they also it's how did you overcome this? So it's a great resource, and I encourage everyone to check it out. And just a little bit about Vivial. So we are a ad tech company, and we focus in marketing solutions for local businesses, whether it's a service provider like a plumber or someone who has a retail location. And we also work with larger multi-locations and franchises as well. And I always tell people, no budget is too small. You can always do something for marketing. Whether it's just using the marketing platform and writing your own content and being really hands-on, or if you just want somebody to deal with it for you, we have all those solutions. So if you have any questions, the phone number is there, and so is the email address. And so we are going to move into the Q&A session. I have a couple that have come in, but if anyone else has any questions, type them into the chat feature now, and we will do our best to stay within the time frame and answer them all. So one of the first ones that came in is from Kathleen, and it's about Google My Business. She said her company is an editing and a proofreading company, and Google doesn't have a heading for that. And so she said she can't get listed, and obviously that's very discouraging. And it's not always easy to get in touch with Google, just because a lot of people want to get in touch with Google, so they make it a little bit difficult. But she says, how do I fix that? And what I would do first is I would ask you if there's any other categories that you can fit into. Professional writing services. Are you considered a business consultant? Do you primarily work with? Do you proof ad copy? Maybe you could consider yourself like an advertising agency. Don't let just the fact that it's not in that one category discourage you, because it is really a great resource. And she said that she has it's not listed. So Kathleen, I will follow up with you offline, because I'm going to find a solution for you. And she works with authors primarily, so maybe you want to do publishing or something within the book industry. So I'm sure Google has something. There's hundreds. So let me see what else came in. Okay, I'm going to pass this one over to Eugene. It is a retail store, and they are asking what is they don't have a large budget, but they're asking how can they rank in a city that they aren't located in? Can they do they have the ability to rank in multiple cities?
Yeah, so a company can rank in multiple cities, especially if the cities are within a very close proximity to each other, which I'm assuming if you're a retail store, that's probably what you want to do, is target a specific locale, maybe not a specific city, but a region. So again, claim your Google My Business listing. That's first and foremost. Second of all, get onto those business directories, make sure that those are all accurate and consistent across the board, as mentioned before. And you can actually, within your description, you can mention the different localities that your store can service. So actually, the content you put on your Google My Business page is also very important in ranking. So as I mentioned before, you want to optimize your website. So all the headings, all the content, make sure you use your keywords within your website. But you can do the same thing with your Google My Business listing. So there is an area for description, and you can actually target keywords that you might want to rank for within that description. And in general, Google's pretty good about knowing, some locations are right next to others. So, and they're pretty good at figuring out what type of city you live in. So I'm from Ohio. When I go back to Ohio, it knows that the suburb my parents still live in is right next to another suburb. So if I search for a restaurant, restaurants in the neighboring suburb might pop up. Whereas in Manhattan, it's not going to show me stuff in across the water in Jersey. So yeah, just optimize for your location. You might want to use the description fields to mention other locations, and you'll be well on your way in ranking in multiple places.
All right, thank you, Eugene. All right. Let me see what else came in. So Low Cornwall said they have a brand new business, and they have a new address, and no business has been at that address previously, and they, therefore they can't claim it because it doesn't exist yet. So, thus they're having a hard time getting on Google Maps, and they're HVAC, so that's obviously, you're looking for a local HVAC, company. So I'm going to actually give this one to Eugene again. I'm sure he has many suggestions for you.
Yeah, so I think the word claim might be a little misleading when you go and claim your my business listing. Basically, claim can also mean set up a new business. So basically, you'll go in and you'll type in your business information, and then you're going to have to basically verify that it's real and it actually exists. And typically, the way Google does that is it will send you a postcard with a code on it, and then you can go back into your account and verify by typing in the code that they sent you that this is an actual location with an actual business and you're real people instead, and not spamming and trying to create locations for businesses that don't exist. So all the business, I don't want to say all, but a lot of businesses that show up on the maps, they haven't been there forever. So there's definitely a way to claim it. I would go through the process and then verify it on the back end. That might take a week or two, but you'll get on there eventually.
Great, thank you, Eugene. All right, I think that's actually it for questions. Meredith, I will follow up with you after about this. My email, it will come from Catherine Shutton, so you're not like, who is this crazy girl emailing me? We'll get you an answer to that. And we will also be sending out a copy of the presentation. It will go out either tonight or tomorrow morning, so you'll be able to click through on all those links, and all those resources will be available. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And if you have any other questions, you can always email us, gethelp@vivial.net. Thank you. Bye.